Castles. For centuries, they have stood tall as symbols of power, wealth, war, love, and imagination. From mountaintop fortresses to dreamy palaces that look straight out of fairy tales, these structures tell the story of kings and queens, empires and battles, legends and ghosts. But among the thousands of castles around the world, only a few truly define history and captivate the imagination of travelers. Today we take you on a journey across continents, through Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, to explore the top 10 castles around the world that you should never miss. Get ready for towering walls, secret passages, breathtaking architecture, and stories that blur the line between history and fantasy. Let's begin. If fairy tales had a home, this would be it. Perched high in the Bavarian Alps, Neuschwanstein Castle looks like it was painted by a dreamer. It was built by King Ludwig II, famously known as the Fairy Tale King, a ruler who loved art and fantasy more than politics. Construction began in 1869, yet Ludwig never saw it completely finished. Ironically, even though the castle was inspired by medieval Europe, it was built using extremely modern technology of the time, running water, flush toilets, and even a heating system. The design blends Romanesque, Gothic, and Byzantine styles, creating a fantasy palace that later inspired Disney's Sleeping Beauty castle. Today, millions journey here every year, not just to explore the royal chambers, but to experience the magical valley surrounding it. When clouds drift through the mountains, Neuschwanstein feels like a floating kingdom. Over 900 years old, Edinburgh Castle dominates the skyline like a giant sentinel watching over Scotland's capital. Built on an extinct volcanic rock, it has survived sieges, invasions, rebellions, and countless battles. Edinburgh Castle houses the Stone of Destiny, one of the most sacred symbols of Scottish monarchy, and the crown jewels of Scotland. Beneath the halls lie dark dungeons that once held pirates and prisoners of war. Some visitors even whisper of ghost sightings, because legends say tortured spirits still wander the stone corridors at night. Yet beyond the mysteries and battles, the castle offers sweeping panoramic views of Edinburgh's medieval streets and rolling hills. From Europe, we travel to Japan, home to one of the most beautiful and best preserved castles ever built, Himeji Castle. Also known as the White Heron Castle, it earned its name because its brilliant white walls look like a heron spreading its wings. Unlike many Japanese castles that were destroyed during war or earthquakes, Himeji survived everything, from samurai conflicts to World War II bombings, almost untouched. But the beauty hides in ingenious military design. The approach to the keep is a maze, twisting paths that confuse attackers. Every turn gives defenders the advantage. Inside, wooden floors and steep stairways lead to upper chambers once occupied by powerful samurai families. Walking through Himeji is like stepping back into feudal Japan. Our next stop takes us to France, to one of the most remarkable pieces of Renaissance architecture, Chambord. Commissioned by King Francis I, this chateau is famous for its double helix staircase, believed by many to have been designed or inspired by Leonardo da Vinci. The castle is massive, over 426 rooms, 282 fireplaces, and 77 staircases. But it wasn't built for living. It was largely a hunting lodge, showcasing royal power in its most extravagant form. Chambord's rooftop looks like a fantasy city, with towers rising like silhouettes against the sky. The harmony of symmetry, geometry, and raw ambition makes this castle truly unforgettable. Few places combine architecture, spirituality, and nature as gracefully as the Alhambra in Granada, Spain. Originally built by the Nasrid dynasty, the last Muslim kingdom in Spain, the Alhambra is a masterpiece of Islamic art. The palace interiors are covered with intricate carvings, Quranic verses, and symmetrical patterns. Light and water are used like instruments, reflecting, shimmering, transforming spaces through the day. The heart of the palace is the Court of the Lions, a courtyard supported by slender marble columns and a central fountain carried by sculpted lions. Every corner of the Alhambra whispers poetry. This is not just a castle, it is a world where culture, history, and imagination merge. Rising from the Carpathian Mountains, Bran Castle is one of the most mysterious fortresses in the world. Thanks to Bram Stoker's novel, it is widely known as Dracula's Castle, even though the connection is more myth than fact. Built in the 14th century, Bran Castle served as a strategic fortress against Ottoman invasions. Its interior is a mix of medieval stone halls and cozy wooden rooms, an unusual combination that gives it an eerie charm. Visitors wander through narrow stairways and hidden passages that spark the imagination. Whether or not Dracula ever lived here, the legends have made Bran Castle an icon of Gothic storytelling. At the heart of Prague sits the largest ancient castle complex in the world, Prague Castle. Founded in the 9th century, this enormous complex includes palaces, churches, gardens, courtyards, and the stunning St. Vitus Cathedral, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture. Over the centuries, it was home to Holy Roman emperors, Bohemian kings, and Czech presidents. From its terraces, the city of Prague spreads out like a storybook. Red roofs, winding streets, and the famous Charles Bridge. Prague Castle isn't just a fortress. It's a city within a city, a tapestry of cultures and eras woven together. Our next destination takes us to Rajasthan, India, where the mighty Mehrangarh fort towers above the blue city of Jodhpur. This is not just a castle, it is one of the largest and most magnificent forts in India. Built in 1459, its walls rise over 120 meters above the city. From the moment you enter through the grand gateways, you feel the power of Rajput royalty. Inside, richly decorated palaces like the Pool Mahal and Sheesh Mahal display jewels, palanquins, weapons, and centuries of royal heritage. From the ramparts, the entire city below glows blue. The fort is alive with stories of kings, battles, courage, honor, echoing the heart of Rajasthan's history. Rising like a miracle from the tides of Normandy, Mont Saint-Michel is one of the most breathtaking medieval sites in the world. Built on a rocky island, the Castle Abbey complex appears and disappears with the tides, sometimes surrounded by water, sometimes by shimmering sands. Construction began in the 8th century, and over time, it evolved into a fortified monastery, a pilgrimage site, and later a strategic stronghold protected by thick walls and towering battlements. Wandering its steep, narrow streets feels like entering a medieval dream, where monks prayed, knights defended the island, and legends were born. High above the Portuguese town of Sintra stands the impossibly colorful Pena Palace, a castle that looks like a surreal painting come to life. Built in the 19th century, it blends neo-Gothic, neo-Manueline, Islamic, and Renaissance designs, creating one of the most unique royal palaces in Europe. The bright yellow domes, red towers, and ornate stone carvings contrast beautifully against the surrounding forests. Each section of the palace tells a different story, of monarchs who loved art, architecture, and fantasy. From its terraces, the Atlantic Ocean sparkles in the distance, giving Pena Palace an almost mystical aura. Across continents, castles stand as guardians of time. Some are fierce fortresses, others are poetic palaces, but all of them remind us of our shared human story, of ambition, beauty, conflict, and imagination. These 10 castles are not just travel destinations, they are worlds in themselves. If you ever get the chance, don't miss them.